So pretty much everything in here is going to be from Cloth and Paper or Fancy Plans. So just a little quick kind of thing around. I have a few kind of unboxing videos and other kind of layout videos where you can see what I'm using. So I always keep my planner dots in here, just right here. I'm taking them out for right now because I'm going to use them in my Plan With Me spread. And then also these new gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous drop stickers that we got in Venice, in the color Venice in the last box. So I'm using these Venice stickers, Suede, Amalfi Coast, Ube, and Fog for the month of July. And then when necessary, I am using the page flags. This is palette number 3 from Cloth and Paper. And these are in the color Mykonos, Jupiter, and Apollo. And then, so I'm gonna just put these to the side because I'm probably gonna use those. And then I have this gorgeous clip that we got of a Cloth and Paper Ollie clip collab. We got this in the June box. I absolutely love it. And then just one of the cards, the thank you cards, just as like a little decor. And then I have my business cards, and then I have some other just Cloth and Paper decor here. Now the Notique planner agenda cover only comes with one pin loop, and it's this sort of vegan leather pin loop that's back here. So I add these elastic pin loops that you can get. I think they are sold, I want to say 10 to a pack. I get the multicolored ones, but you can get solid colored packs or even black if you just want to do just black. I get mine from Amazon. I'll try to remember to add a link to the description box. I love the Notique cover because the front pockets are so big. You can see this is bigger than a standard business card. So you can get more kind of stuff in here, and then you have your secretarial flap here, and then this is a pocket, and this is a full pocket, okay? And so I actually have some work-related stuff in that pocket, so I'm not gonna pull that out, but you know, if you're getting, you know, stuff like, you know, people hand you like agendas or different things at meetings, so nice. The other thing to note, which I think, yep, I have mine nearby, so I'll show you. iPad. And this actually, now, right now, it's not going to because I actually have the cover on it. And because I have a crap ton of paper in here. But like if I took the cover off and I'm just gonna take the iPad to a meeting, beep, right? It fits, it snaps closed, it is in there. Now, if I have less paper in here to begin with, which I have like a crap ton of paper in here. But if I had less paper in here, then this would fit in here with the cover on it, and it would be able to snap close, right? It's just that I have a ton of paper in here. So something to think about if you're looking for an agenda cover and you're someone who has to sometimes take, I don't know why I have a random piece of tape attached. Anywho's, but if you have to take your iPad with you to meetings, something to think about. I will probably, actually, I know that I will, yeah, probably take out a few things because I have some extra stuff in here from things that are over, like I don't need those notes anymore. And so I'll just take those out, and then my iPad will fit in here again, which is really helpful. So I have the glass plastic cover over my front pages so that my pages don't get scuffed up. I know there are people who ask about like keeping this clean or how do you keep it from getting scratched up. Listen, this cover for the last, I've only had this cover for a year. For the last year, this thing has been at the house. You know, I haven't been going outside with it. I mean, well, I work outside on my patio sometimes, but you know, it's mostly also too been inside this agenda cover for the last, I got this agenda cover, I want to say in late February, early March. And so this, and I mean, I think that this was also, this had scratches on it within like 2 or 3 days. I'm one of those people who I actually don't really care much. I would rather all of the scratches, all of the scuffs, all of the bleh to be on this piece of plastic than on my beautiful cream color, white color, vellums or beautiful white dashboards, you know, cream colored dashboards from Cloth and Paper. And that's just me. Like some people don't want this all scratched up, but honestly, like you can, I don't know, to me, you can barely tell. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, actually, I will say this, actually, no, I can tell more now than I could like a couple months ago. But again, I would rather this be all scratched up, this plastic cover be all scratched up, than this be dirty, scratched up, pen marks and stuff like that. But that's just me. And so, yeah. So I use for my dividers, I use the, this is called beignet now. I had to think about that for a second because when I bought these, this color was called affogato, and now it's called, I think it's called beignet. And so this was another Ollie Clip Cloth and Paper collab, or collab. I don't know why I keep saying it collab. Collab, another collaboration, and I love this, love. I think this is the one I bought. So this was the one that was in the sub box. I think this is the one that I bought. I have a few floating around between my 2 planners. And so in my planner, I keep a month layout. Now I said in another video that I was gonna start, because I don't really use in my work planner, unlike in my personal planner, in my work planner, I don't use this front page. I hardly ever use it. So I have started clipping the monthly page to my dashboards. Rather than having the dashboards, I was putting the dashboards on the outside and then clipping the dashboard to the divider. But I felt like when I did that, whenever I pulled the divider, because I actually clipped all of this together, you know, I never saw the pretty, right? I never got to see my pretty. I never got to see my dashboards, because whenever I would, you know, when you pick up your tab, you do this, right? So whatever is on the inside, you don't see any of that. And so I decided to put my dashboards on the inside so that I would be able to see them. So now let's take a look. We are going to do the plan with me. Make sure I get all my right pages. Actually, I can just leave that page in there. All right, so I use the Cloth and Paper monthly, and I use the Cloth and Paper, I'm gonna grab my fountain pen too. I use the Cloth and Paper monthly and the Cloth and Paper week on 4 pages. I absolutely love this thing. I said in the plan with me that I did with my personal planner that lately I've been debating whether or not next year I'm gonna switch over and do the half letter size for work. I've been back on campus now, going to campus full time for 2 weeks. And this is what I've realized. There's no way on earth I'm gonna be able to use a half letter planner for work. Like, it's just not enough space. I have too many meetings, I have too many things going on. It's just not enough space. It's just not. I want it to be, but it's not. So it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, just have to accept it. All right, so I am pulling over my planner from last week so that I can look at my notes and see what all I might need. Oh yeah, you can see that. Okay. Okay, so on my side work table, because I have things that I can't show on camera, I do have my calendar open from last week. One of the things that I do when I'm laying out the new calendar is I always go back through the last week's calendar to see what all is still needs to be done, what is kind of from the to-do lists, right? If there's anything that needs to be carried over, if in the notes from different like meetings or calls that I had throughout the week, are there tasks now that I can, or are those notes now tasks that need to happen? If they're tasks that need to happen, are they date specific? If they're date specific, then I put them on the dates. If they're not, then I just put them in the notes section. Okay. So I am using my blue and purple colored dots and things. So let me go ahead, because one of the things I normally use pink for conferences, but I don't remember that's what I did in my monthly layout. So let's go look at my monthly layout. Oh wow, I didn't do, so what I do, and I can actually put this over. So on my monthly, I use my little dots to indicate different things. Oh, and it looks like what I did is I used the new Venice colored drops to indicate my conference. So I'm gonna do the same thing on here. Now the question is, how do I want to do this? Little thinking. I think what I want to do, that makes me happy. Okay, so I'm gonna use this middle size dot. That's this sort of drip, and I'm gonna use that to cover the date, to kind of highlight it, because that just looks really, really pretty. But I'm gonna do the little arrow of the dot towards the inside, because that's where I'm gonna write what conference it is. So let's see, I have, and then I also have Thursday and Friday. I absolutely love this. I am probably gonna be one of those people who, when they release this color in the shop to buy, I'm gonna be buying more of these because they are so pretty. Okay. All right, I absolutely love that. So I am going to use, I'm actually going to use though what is it? Let's see, do I want to use the pink Strasser pen, or do I want to use my pink fountain pen? And this, because this pink ink is actually more purple. It was advertised as pink, but it's definitely more purple. So this is gonna be, yay. All right. I already love how that looks. So the way that I use my priority section, I write in the priorities on the day. I sit down with my calendar for in the morning, usually while I'm having my breakfast, and I go through the previous day or on Monday, the previous week, figure out what the top 3 priorities are gonna be. Honestly, this week, because I have these 2 conferences, not just back to back, but literally overlapping one another, the priority is probably just not to lose my mind. If I'm being perfectly honest with myself. But because it's so hectic and because I don't know what I was thinking about, I've had these 2 conferences on my schedule for literal months, and somehow, some way, I did not, let me see, how do I want to do this? Let me think. Somehow I didn't block my, what I was gonna say is I didn't block my time. Oh, let's put it over here. So my calendar is littered with other appointments. Like by the time I finally realized that I had people scheduling events for me, and scheduling meetings with me during this week, I already had appointments, and I don't know. I just decided, screw it, I'll keep them. But it means that I have stuff happening like all over the place. I have advising appointments happening. I have meetings happening. Like my calendar is absolutely insane. It's insane. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a meeting. That's super important. Okay, so let's do, and actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the little baby blue because this conference has a block of time. So I just wanna put this on that block of time. And then I have an advising appointment. And then I have, oops. Oh no, we'll do that. We'll leave that. Yeah, that's the way we'll do that. And then we have an advising appointment. And then I have another meeting, and then I have an advising appointment. So that other meeting should have this color. So what I do on my monthly calendar, I don't always do it on the weekly calendar, but I feel like doing it this week because this week is already, this upcoming week is going to be pretty hectic. Is I go ahead and I use the same color dot for that category of appointment on my schedule so that when I look at it, I can kind of just eyeball it based on the color and I know kind of where I'm going. Okay, so just so that I know what I've done to myself, I'm going to put this in, I'm going to put in the time. Because what I do like to do sometimes, I didn't do it on this one just because I didn't count it out. And I don't feel like whiting this out to reset it. But I do like for conferences sometimes to just kind of do like a little bit of a block so that, again, it's a little bit more obvious that I'm not available. And so I am going to use, because I usually do use like a pink for conferences on my calendar, I'm just gonna use, and this one is so light and faint, like I know it's not picking up on camera because you can barely see it on the paper, but I love it for something like this where I'm not actually using the actual color and I just really kind of want to have that highlight to kind of just like faintly block it out. But, and I'm still gonna do it this way too. The thing is, now I've already written it here, so I can't really do it here because this would bleed all over the paper if I highlighted across it. So I'm gonna have to give this some time to like really, really dry. So like maybe a day, I can come back and highlight over it tomorrow. But not today. If I try to do it today, it'll drag. Okay, so we've got our 2 meetings. All right, and then Wednesday, we have our 2 conferences. So same thing, I wanna block this. that block schedule. So one of the things that I love about using cloth and paper is this white, just sort of a crisp white paper with just black printing is so easy to be able to like decorate and color any way that you actually want, instead of feeling kind of like trapped in a color scheme, right? When I switched over to using 2 years ago, a little bit less than 2 years ago at this point, I switched from doing bullet journal to doing to using a happy planner. And the reason for that is because I took on 2 years ago, just about, again, a little bit less, it won't be 2 years until August. I took on this position as a department chair. And what I realized was, in being a department chair, I couldn't do a bullet journal layout anymore. I needed something that was pre-printed. I needed my dates to be pre-printed, and I needed dates to go out like months in advance, because I needed to be able to kind of have a more long-range plan and do that on paper just for my personal workflow. And so I switched to a happy planner for my work planner. And the colors were so bright and sometimes kind of garish. And it was honestly finding a happy planner layout that was vertical wasn't hard. Finding a happy planner layout that was vertical that didn't have 50, 11 million colors on it, that was rough goings. And so a year ago, because I actually started in cloth and paper a year ago, so during the pandemic, last summer, I switched out of a happy planner, switched over to cloth and paper, have not regretted it. I think the only thing I've regretted is I do have a lot of sticker books that are going completely unused. The funny thing is what I can say is I don't have any sticker books where I didn't use a single page, right? Like, I've used pages out of them. So it's not like I would like feel comfortable selling them or giving them away necessarily, because they have missing pages. Okay, I'm actually gonna highlight the bottom of this too, because this is actually the closing. So I wouldn't feel comfortable like selling them or giving them away, but I just have a bunch of books that are kind of like, I started using them, but I don't use them anymore. So I don't know, I might start using them again. All right, is that it? Yep, that's it. That's our layout. Let me make sure. I feel like I'm missing a meeting for Thursday, and I am. I'm missing 2 meetings, actually. All right, so let's get that one, and then let's get one more. So what I love about this particular layout is that the schedule part is also blank. And so it's perfect for what I need. Because then I can just write in the times for the things that I am going to. Because I actually skipped a step. I switched out of Happy Planner into Fancy Plans, because Fancy Plans had a pre-dated calendar in 2020. For 2021, Fancy Plans moved to having an undated calendar. And I was like, oh my God, that's not gonna work for me. And so I started using this calendar. So actually I'm wrong. I started using I said earlier that I started using a cloth and paper calendar last summer. I actually didn't start using the cloth and paper calendar until, actually it was last summer, because you know what? They started sending toward the end of the summer. When I started the subscription box, they sent calendar pages. So I did start using their calendar last summer. But this layout, I didn't start using until January. So I don't normally switch out inks in the middle of writing my calendar, but I did this time. So I'm just gonna leave it. I may go back over it and write over these using my fountain pen later. But for right now, that's not really what's gonna happen probably. I like using the fountain pen for notes and stuff like that. Plus it's got a good weight and it just looks nice. And it makes you feel better about all the writing you have to do if you use a nice pen. So, and my fountain pens inside my planner, like nobody touches them. I don't play that. So I don't lose pens, which is great because, you know, when you use a nice pen like this and you keep it next to you, people don't take your pens. But I like this one. So, and I like the way it writes when you're writing on your paper later. So what I may do though this week, because I do like to have a sharp contrast sometimes, and I think this week is gonna be such a hectic week, I may actually switch out and instead of using kind of this color, I may actually bring this pen with me and use this purple color, which will give a nice contrast to the calendar. So we'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. Right now I'm gonna stick with this. So let's go ahead and put this back. So you'll notice that I didn't actually fill in any of my to-dos as I went back and was kind of looking through my calendar. Some of these to-dos I really can't share on camera, so I'm just gonna leave it blank and I'll go back in and I'll fill it out later on camera, or off camera rather, when I, you know, start to use it. But for the plan with me, I wanted to just kind of show how I use the stickers, how I use the space and lay it out. So let's go ahead and use my pink pen to highlight the week that we're on. I do really love to highlight the week that I'm on. It's just another kind of quick at a glance reminder, you know, when you're on the phone or something like that. Even though on a week like this, I have all the top ones highlighted this time because of the conference, it's still nice to have that kind of, ooh, sorry, that chair. But anyway, it's still nice to have the highlighting of the events. So actually, I wanted to kind of stand up so I could see, and actually that color does come up on camera, so that's good. So I do like to do a little block highlighting sometimes when I have big things that are going to take up more than an hour. Just so again, in looking at my calendar, I can see what's going on quickly. So thank you so much for joining me on this Plan With Me session. Let's go ahead and let's pop this lovely little lady right back in the planner. Like, make sure I actually do this correctly. Pop the page in between, or make sure that the marker for today is in between the two pages. There we go. So that's our layout for the week of the 19th. And as you can see, I left in Saturday and Sunday. I try not to schedule work events on Saturday and Sunday. It doesn't always work out, but I do try. And so I usually just end up using Saturday and Sunday as kind of a dashboard. I end up using this page really as, maybe not dashboard isn't the right word, maybe it's more like inbox. And so because of that, I have actually been kind of thinking about getting an inbox, one of the inbox dashboards from Cloth and Paper to put over this, you know, have it in here over the Saturday and Sunday so that I can like have my notes and stuff. I don't know. Still playing with that idea. Not sure if that's what I'm gonna do. I do like the idea though. because I've also been thinking about getting the one that's the whiteboard one. So if you use the whiteboard inbox from Cloth and Paper, drop a comment down and tell me what you think about it. The reason why I'm not 100% sure about it is because I don't know if I want to have yet another pen in my planner, right? Because I already have a Sharpie that I keep in here. I keep a highlighter in here, and I'm actually going to switch this one out for this one for this week. And then obviously the fountain pen to be able to write with. So I'm just not sure if I want to have another pen in here. That's part of it. The other part of it is the purpose that I would be using it for is what I already do, which is just to stick sticky notes here. And then I process them through at the end of the day, but I stick them on here because, like I said, I don't use Saturday and Sunday. So I don't know. Something to think about, right? All right, so this is the layout. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you have any questions about research and planning, then go ahead and put those in. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day. Enjoy the bounty of your plans.